Henry's haunted house. Chapter 1. No way, shrieked horrid Henry. She's not staying the weekend with his slimy cousin stuck up Steve. That was that. He sat in the back seat of the car with his arms. Yes, you are, said Mum. Steve can't wait to see you, said Dad. This was not exactly true. After Henry was sprayed Steve with green goo last Christmas, and he has since Steph to a few of Steve's presents. Steve was sought revenge. Different. Under Christmases, Henry thought it would be a good idea to keep out of Steve's way. And now Mum had arranged for him to spend the weekend while she and Dad went off on their own. Perfect Peter was staying with Tidy Ted, and he was stuck with Steve. The great chance for you boys to become good friends, Mum said. Steve, very nice boy. Chapter 2. I feel sick, said Henry, coughing. Stop, Falcon, said Mum. You are well enough to play football all morning. I'm too tired, said Henry, yawning. I'm sure get plenty of rest at Aunt Ruby's, Dad said Dad firmly. I'm not going, howled Henry. Mum and Dad took Henry by the arms, dragging to rich Aunt Ruby's door and rang the bell. The massive door opened immediately. Welcome, Henry, said rich Aunt Ruby, giving him a great smacking kiss. Henry, how lovely to see you. The stuck up Steve sweetly. That very nice second-hand jumper you're wearing. Hush, Steve, said rich Aunt Ruby. Henry glared at Steve. Thank goodness he'd remember his girl shoot. He had a feeling he might need it. Chapter 3. Goodbye, Henry, said Mum. Be good, Ruby. Thank you so much for having him. Our pleasure, lied Aunt Ruby. The great door closed. Henry was alone in the house with his arch empty. Henry looked grimly at Steve. Was a horrible boy, he thought. Steve looked grimly at Henry. Was horrible boy, he thought. Why don't you both go upstairs and play in Steve's room till supper's ready, said Aunt Ruby. I'll show Henry where she's sleeping first, said Steve. Good idea, said Aunt Ruby. Reluctantly, Henry followed his cousin up wide the staircase. I bet you're scared of the dark, said Steve. Of course I'm not, said Henry. That's good, said Steve. This is my room," he added, opening the door to an enormous bedroom. Horrid Henry stared longingly until the shelf filled to bursting with zillions of toys and games. "Of course, all my toys are brand new. Don't you dare touch anything," hissed Steve. "They are all mine and only I can play with them." Henry scowled. When he was a kid, he used Steve's head as a target for practice. He continued all the way to the top. "Goodness, this old house was big," thought Henry. Steve opened the door to a large arctic bedroom with brand new pink and blue floored wallpaper, a four-poster bed, an enormous polished wood wardrobe, and two large windows. "You're in a haunted room," said Steve casually. "Great," said Henry. "I love ghosts. It will take more than silly ghosts to frighten him." "Don't believe me if you don't want to," said Steve. "Just don't blame me when the ghosts start wailing." "You're not a big fat lamb," said Henry. But he was sure Steve was lying. He was especially sure Steve was lying. He was 1,000,000% sure Steve was lying. Henry would rather have walked on hot chocolate than he might be scared to Steve. He yawned as if he did never heard anything so boring. "I'm looking forward to meeting the ghost," said Henry. "Good," said Steve. "Superboy," called Aunt Ruby. Chapter 4. Henry lay in the bed. Somehow she'd survive the dreadful meal stuck up Steve bitching about the infant, clothes, toys, and trainers. Now he was alone in the Arctic at the top of the house. He jumped into the bed, carefully avoiding the faded brown patch on the floor. He sure is just spilled cocoa or something, just in case. Henry looked around him. Only thing he didn't was a huge wardrobe outside the bed. It loomed up in the darkness at him. You could hide in the body in the wardrobe, thought Henry. He rather wish he had. Ooh. Henry sniffed. He had just imagined the sound of someone moaning. Silence. No, nothing, thought Henry, snudging down under the cover. Just the wind. Ooh. This time the moaning was a fraction louder. The hair on Henry's neck stood up. He grinned. He gripped the sheet tightly. "Ah!" Henry sat up. "Ah!" The ghost blew moaning sound, not coming from outside, appeared coming from inside a giant wardrobe. Quickly, Henry switched on the bedroom light. What I'm going to do, thought Henry. He wanted to run screaming to his aunt. But the truth was Henry was too frightened to move. Some dreadful moaning thing was inside the wardrobe, just waiting to get him. And the horrid Henry remembered who he was, the leader of a pirate gang, afraid of nothing except ingestion. I'll just get up and check inside that wardrobe, he thought. And I'm a man or mouse. Mouse, he thought. Chapter 5. He did not move. Moaning the thing. He unearthly noises were getting louder. Wait for it to get me, or shall I make a move first? Thought Henry silently. He reached under the bed for his goo shooter. Then suddenly, he swung his feet over the bed, tiptoe, holding his breath. Horrid Henry stood outside the wardrobe. Henry jumped. Then the flung open. He flung open the door and fired. Splat! The wardrobe was empty, except for something small and greeny black on the top shelf. It looked like it was. Henry reached up and took it. A CD player covered in green goo. Inside was a CD called Jokey Spooky Sounds. Steve saw horrid Henry grimly. Revenge. Chapter 6. Did you sleep well, dear? Asked Aunt Ruby at breakfast. Like a log, said Henry. No strange noises? Asked Steve. No, smiled Henry sweetly. Why, did you hear something? Steve looked disappointed. Horrid Henry kept his face blank. He couldn't wait for the evening. Horrid Henry spent a busy day. He went ice skating. He went to the cinema. He played football. After supper, Henry went. Being a lovely day, he said. But I'm tired. Good night, said Aunt Ruby. Good night, Steve. Good night, Henry, said Ruby. Steve ignored him. But Henry did not go to his bedroom. Instead, he sneaked to Steve. He wriggled under the Steve bed and lay there, waiting. Soon Steve came into the room. Henry realized urge to reach out and seize Steve's skinny leg. something much scarier in mind. He heard Steve putting on his blue bunny pajama and jumping into the bed. Henry waited until the room was dark. Steve lay him humming to himself. Dobby, Dobby, do, sang Steve. Slowly, Henry reached up and ever so silently poked the mouse tree. Silent. Dobby, 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 do, sang Steve. A little bit more quietly, Henry reached up and poked the mouse tree against Steve's up, and he lay back. Henry poked the mouse tree again, even so silently. It must be my imagination, muttered Steve. Henry allowed several moments to pass. Then he twitched the duvet. Mummy, whispered Steve. Job, Henry gave the mouse tree a definite poke. Ah! Screamed Steve and leaped out and ran out of the room. Mommy! Help! Monsters! Henry scrambled out of the room. He ran silently up to his attic. Quick as he could, he put on his pajamas. He clattered noisily back downstairs to Steve's. Aunt Ruby was on her hands and knees peering under the bed. Steve was shivering and quivering in the corner. There's nothing here, Steve, he said firmly. What's wrong? Asked Steve. Nothing, muttered Steve. You're not scared of the dark, are you? Said Henry. Black to the bed toys, said Aunt Ruby. She left the room. Mummy, help! Monsters! Making. Henry sticking out his tongue. Mom! Wailed Steve. Henry being horrid. Go to bed, both of you! Shrieked Ruby. Watch out for monsters, said Henry. Steve did not move from his corner. Want to swap rooms tonight, said Henry. Steve did not wait to be asked twice. Go on up, said Henry. Sweet dreams. Steve dashed out of his bedroom as fast as he could. He thought Holy Henry, pulling Steve's toy down from the shelf. Now what would he place first? Oh yes, he left a few spooky sounds of his own under the attic bed just in case.